Hello, hello, hello. Is this working?
Hi.
Then we hear each other. Oh, can I get rid of that background?
It's fine. The world's on fire
Super
the entire
fitting.
time
Yeah.
we're doing this, so
Is
it's fine.
everyone seeing and hearing us? Hello. I think this might be working.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
First time. All right.
Yeah, it only
It only
a
took
lot of
you
bullshit
years.
and the wrong link. Yeah. But I got it going. I'm Thomas. That's Lydia. That's Matt. That's Olivia. That's easy. Their names are right there. Anyone could do that job. How's it going? All right, people can hear you. There's that awkward start. No stream starts like just right on. You gotta wait and you'd be like test. You know.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I think we're all good though. Wow, that's remarkable. And I have the Patreon questions I can throw up too. Maybe. Yes. Throw those up. I think we're
Cool.
live though. Should I don't know. Should I record this? I guess. Or wait, this might record it automatically. Because
Yeah.
I actually want to post.
Yeah.
Unlike the last one. Oh, am I too loud? Okay. Am I louder than everyone else? Here,
You're sounding a bit hot, which you know.
Yeah.
You're not
I
wrong.
think I correctly interpreted that. The problem is Matt is always quiet. It's always a struggle. Lydia should be similarly loud though.
Check. You guys tell me. I don't know.
Do you guys have the oh, I can edit your mic settings? Oh, automatically adjust mic volume.
And like Matt just like pump him.
I'm gonna
up,
not
like...
do echo. Oh wait, Matt, do you not have headphones on? Oh, okay. Well, that's part of it.
I'd go rogue.
Olivia scrambling right now.
Yeah, it's all right. It just means so that'll mean when you don't have headphones on, we have to turn an echo cancellation, and that will mean if anyone else is talking, like your voice won't work. So that's
Thanks, Christine. Thanks for
really
me.
good
Dang. All right.
So now, I'm turning off Olivia's echo cancellation. Oh wait, but is it coming out of? Why do I still hear it? Is the sound coming out of your headphones?
I think I didn't have my headphones plugged in when I first started, so now it's confused.
It's confused. Okay.
It's confused. Let me see. Let me check settings. Let's see what I can do.
I think I sound louder because I just am very conscious about speaking directly into the mic and projecting at all times. And this, I can reduce me though. Maybe I'll do that. Here, I'll turn myself down. This is fun. Oh, I hate to automatically adjust mic volume.
This is real behind the scenes OA stuff because this is every episode. Before we get started, we got to play with the audio.
Yeah, this is fun. This is the first time we've done this in a long time.
Yeah.
Long time. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, we can start the stream, everyone. Hi. Well, this is great. Thanks so much for coming. We got cool. We got a decent number of viewers. We're going to answer some patron questions. We're going to definitely also answer questions in the chat, because why not? And adjust the fonts in chat. Yeah, play with it. Okay, so this is great. We can interact. Anybody have anything before we get going? What's new in your lives? Matt, how you doing?
Oh, just having a Sunday. We've got the Boston Globe coming up tomorrow. Follow us around, and I was trying to see if I see anything. Are you getting echo?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds bad.
I should just put headphones on.
Yeah.
I will sacrifice my ear. That was the only consideration.
Okay.
Also,
I
think
echo cancellation for you.
I think we might have somebody backstage, hon.
Oh,
okay.
Holy crap.
How's that?
Yeah.
I wasn't
sure. Hey, you're in.
It's
Hello. How's it going, Liz? Can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Still echoey.
Who's got? Wait. This is fun, everyone. This is great. I didn't. Wow. Okay. What's with the Liz? Is that Liz?
Is it my fault?
I think you have a lot of background noise. That's okay. I think it's
everyone
worse
except
if
Thomas is
everyone,
echoey. Yes.
Everyone except Thomas is echoey. You all have headphones on though. How is that possible?
This might be
Don't
better.
worry. This is on us, everyone. Yeah. How am I not? How is okay? I don't know. Are we all coming out of someone else's? No, wait, but that doesn't make sense because if I was talking, then it would be echoey.
I have no idea.
This is a riddle. Okay. Someone in the chat always tells the truth. Someone else always lies. I don't know. Well, if we can all be heard, are we like, is it usable, everyone? Chat, is it like workable?
Well, you sound good.
Yeah, it's really
are
distracting for the rest of us.
Oh, it's you guys are echoing for you?
We can hear us echoing as well.
Somebody still have speakers on.
Oh, this might be, maybe this is my fault. Hold on a sec.
Wow.
Just hanging out in our lefty echo chamber.
I had the wrong input selected. I'm so sorry. How is that?
Hello.
Is that better?
Yes.
Hey, everyone.
Is that better? Is it workable? Sorry about that. I had the wrong input selected. Okay. That was absolutely my fault. Okay, is it working now?
That's like literally never happened. It's never your fault.
Yay!
Seriously.
It's funny. I made a special like input for this specifically to work, and then I just didn't select it. I selected the old one. That's cool. Did 98% of the work. Okay, well, great. So that pretty much solved it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's so great to have you here. Hey, Liz, how are you doing?
It's good. It's so nice to see you today.
What are you drinking? I
too.
saw you had
Oh,
a little
yeah.
glass.
Oh yeah, it's 6 o'clock, so rosé.
Good for
I
you.
just came from. As some of you may know, we might actually not get a terrible mayor in New York. So I've been out all day canvassing for my friend, Zoran Mamdani, and
Yeah.
now it's time to drink rosé.
Nice. I saw
I-
him on Subway Hot Takes or whatever that channel is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Where
yeah,
they
he's-
like interview with the Metro card thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw a little interview there. He did a good job. Yeah.
He's great. He actually might beat Andrew Cuomo. Like, it's nuts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and he
No
like
way.
pointed out, like one of the mailers or whatever, it said like paid for by Michael Bloomberg and DoorDash, and I don't remember. Oh,
Like
and
two
then
other billionaires. Yeah.
yeah, Bill Ackman was
Yep.
the other one.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
yeah.
All your
Fuck
favorites.
that guy.
But I want to know what's DoorDash's deal here. Like what is bothering them about Mamdani potentially winning? Like why are they joining there? I don't
I'm
know.
not actually sure why they're going as hard as they are.
Yeah.
I think it's a good question. Yeah.
They don't want city-run grocery stores.
Yeah.
Pretty good idea.
Yeah. No. And they want to not pay their workers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. They poured a lot of money in California to avoid. I don't even remember what prop that was now.
The
It's been too
contractor
long.
one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, what happens when you get a good mayor? Is it just not? Are we just celebrating not a bad thing, which is great? I love that. But like, is that gonna what? I mean, I have to imagine being mayor of New York involves control of like quite a bit of policy that's gonna affect people's lives. Like, is there anything that you think he's gonna be able to do that's gonna make a real difference, kind of like right away? Or I don't know. Like, what do mayors even do?
I
They
mean,
just
there
get
are a
keys
bunch
to the
of
city
things
and I don't know.
he can do. I mean, first off, I mean, he has the ability to. Engage in some taxation. I mean, his big ideas, and one of his big ideas, which is pretty achievable, is free buses. That's like within the ability of like the New York City budget to afford that. It's a little less than $1 billion, which we can apparently do. And it's
Wow.
cool because like it would be if our buses were free, they would be much faster, right? They wouldn't be stopped for everyone to like just collect the fare and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it would just create a much more accessible, transit system for everyone. So that's one of the ideas he has. The other thing he can do is he actually controls the rent guidelines board. So something like a third or maybe a quarter of housing in New York City is subject to the rent guidelines board. So one of his big campaign promises is a rent freeze because under Eric Adams, they've raised the rent guidelines board for rent stabilized apartments at the annual maximum every single year. So he's full on, we're freezing the
wow.
rent. And then basically housing policy, like in terms of like building more affordable housing. One of his big initiatives is to, try to make sure to have like several 100,000 more affordable units being built and making sure that like kind of cutting through the red tape of like zoning.
Yeah. I love the idea that there's like a national, like, meeting of mayors and, whoever's mayor of New York City and like the mayor of my hometown with 4 people is like, we do the same job. We got the same, pretty much the same. We're both mayors. I'm a mayor. You're a mayor. It's like mayor of New York
Right.
City has, $1 billion, can just do that. Like maybe that's crazy. It's like being it's probably more than being the governor of some states, I would think.
Oh,
Like, it's
no,
like,
I've been thinking about this because Christy
Yeah.
1 million people in South Dakota. That was
Yeah.
Christy Noem's previous experience. Besides running a farm, I think running the farm was actually harder from what I've read.
well, and killing dogs. Yeah. Is that
Yeah.
the dog killer lady?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's the
it sure
dog dog.
is.
Yeah.
Sure is.
And not
Good
meeting Kim Jong-il.
experience.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, shall we look to the Patreons? Hey, not too late. If you go on the Patreon thread, folks, you can pose questions. You can vote on the questions you want to see answered. What if I do that? Ooh, fancy. Look at that.
Ooh,
High tech here.
dang.
Yeah. So maybe I should refresh though, because I haven't refreshed in a while, so we can see if there's any. Oh, okay. So this is. Oh, that looks like the
Most
newest ones are
recent.
on top. Okay. Should I
Yeah.
go down to the bottom? I wish it would sort
How
by
many
like
likes
hearts.
did mine get?
Oh, here's one. I might just go with this one because it's got so many likes right now. Is there a
Did
way
I
to
get
reorder
more?
that? Let's see. You check on your own. Also,
Okay, I
maybe you
will.
can look and like tell me which ones to
Kind
scroll
of ping
to.
you, yeah. Let's
Yeah, it
see.
doesn't. I don't see any way to like reorder the comments. That's weird. Normally they feel like they give you that, but okay. All right. Oh no, there we go. So scrolling down, we can do that. We can do a survey
Oh,
here.
I only
and
have
see.
9. All
I
right.
only have 9.
Yeah.
Get
Dang.
good. Why does it
Who
keep
in
going to
this
the
chat
top?
did not vote for my comment? Just kidding. I
like
just
an
want to bug
imposition.
Thomas. That's the point of my question. So
I do have a feeling I know
Okay.
I want to answer, but
Yeah.
we'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh, I think we should. Oh my God, cool. I think we should first celebrate by anointing the winner of the likes contest, and because it is a popularity contest,
yes,
and we
it's
should
Oh, wow.
mine.
And it's
Oh,
Chris
15.
McCants, right? I think
There we go.
15 is it.
I think
Oh,
so.
this is a great one for both Liz and I. This is a good question.
Perfect. I make a point not to commit crimes. Oh wait, I have Lydia here. You read it.
Sure.
I like hearing you better.
I make a point to not commit crimes, so I don't have a criminal defense lawyer to call. I wouldn't even know how to go about finding one. So if I'm arrested for something I didn't do, I feel like I'd be at a disadvantage, especially with a major backlog at the public defender's office. Should I vet defense lawyers just in case I ever need one?
Wow.
Chris
well,
in the
first
chat.
of all,
You're welcome.
You probably committed 3 or 4 federal crimes today, so let's
Right.
Ooh.
let's start there. Yeah, I mean, good for you for making a point of not committing crimes. We all try to do the same, I think.
Braggy,
but
but yeah.
I do think it's a good idea to know at least one criminal defense attorney, and to know that if you're arrested for any reason, and you might actually know what direction. I mean, if you know that you like to carry guns around, if you like to go to protests, if you know that you like to drink and drive. I'm not saying that any of those things apply. You might want to find a specialist, but generally speaking, it's good to have a lawyer that you know that you could reach. What's your thought on this, Liz?
I mean, I totally agree. I always tell my friends or any connections of mine, just, I'm always available if something comes up. And,
Oh, there you go. Liz is always available. Everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, just reach out to me.
Ask and
I'm
answer.
always available. But actually, I mean, if you're not in New York City, it's I don't know how helpful it can be. But over the weekend, I actually handled like something where a friend of a friend got arrested for basically a fight with like someone who, it was a moving situation. There was a lot of honking. There were my friend was punched. My friend's friend was punched.
Oh, wow.
And then stabbed. But my friend punched the other guy back. So it was a whole thing. Like you'd be surprised how
Wow.
these things happen. And like I also think that
Wow.
police are not exactly. Police are I'll hold back on some of my thoughts on my
Why?
more intense thoughts. Well, yeah, police are not very good at their job, and so
Yeah.
they show up in a situation and they just kind of make arrests, and it's very reactive. It's not based on real investigation, and so if you can find yourself being arrested. Point being, it is good to know someone or know someone who knows someone who's a criminal defense lawyer, and I think that one of the things I also see is like some people hiring some really not great criminal defense lawyers that don't have much practice. So my advice to you is see if you can find a public defender in your jurisdiction. Ask them who their go-to phone call would be, because that is your criminal defense lawyer. Because I have 3 people that I would list that if I were ever arrested, because I don't get a public defender, unfortunately, I almost do. I'm almost that badly paid. Who I would say, this is the person I would call.
That's interesting. But in the meantime, like most importantly, just don't say anything, right? Like that's the one piece of legal advice I feel like Like
Don't
we
say
give out
anything.
consistently, just do not talk to these assholes.
Do
at
not
all.
talk to the police and say that you want a lawyer. It's actually a more
Yeah.
powerful invocation than saying that if you say, I'm invoking my right to remain silent, they can come talk to you again a few hours later and be like, but are you really? If you say,
Yeah.
I want a lawyer, they can't talk to you after that.
Yeah.
And
There's
Anything
just
you say
no
is-
upside.
yeah.
yeah, the lawyer's most important role is probably just going to be showing up and saying, my client's not saying anything, let's go home.
Yeah.
And which is,
Exactly.
I've got two lawyers on call that I can have that do that for me. They're two of my best
Ooh,
friends.
can I be
Easy stuff.
technically a lawyer just to do that job? Like, just call me. He's not saying anything. Shut up. Get out of here. Not talking.
That's an
That's all I do.
easy bill. Easy
And then
bill.
like
You'd
someone
be very
else
good
can
at that.
take over for the actual law
No,
stuff, you know?
it is like Thomas. It is truly the best, and like I appreciate that you like that. I will just share an anecdote that, as some of you know, I'm a big raver. And one time I was at a rave, and a
rave.
friend's brother got arrested, and I walked out of the rave wearing something interesting, and called like the 19th precinct, being like, Mr. Smith is represented by counsel. You are not to question him.
Listen,
And then walk right back in.
Oh my god, I
this is
love
great.
that.
Ooh, check this technology. Liz Skeen, rave lawyer. I love that.
My dream.
Open market.
Good times. All
All right,
right.
what else we got?
Let's see. We've got one that is, we got, I think, 9. Is a
Another
good
one
that
that's
I see?
11.
Oh, where's the 11?
11
Is it
is it's not
You have to say
mine.
if
It's
it's
right above mine.
Oh, there
It's
it is.
from Graydon Armstrong.
Yeah, it's right above this totally pathetic 9 heart question. Graydon Armstrong says, are we ever going to get tea on what happened with the show stealing, or by now you just wanting to leave that behind you? No, I just talked about that today. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I've answered this question a few times, and I don't blame people for asking it. It's so fucking difficult to keep up with the shows in order to pay off the massive legal debt, and also find a way to tell this impossible traumatic story in a way like it's
In a way that
really
makes
getting
sense.
hard.
And
And
yeah.
I don't know. I'm getting to the point where my idea today was like, maybe I just need to start having like Mondays be that. Like I literally just need to start doing it as episodes, because I can't catch up otherwise. It's weird, but I don't know what else to do. So I may look to do something like that. I'm trying to. Believe me, it probably cost me just the ability to talk probably cost me $150,000 on top of everything else. Like just that ability, because we would have had a deal if I agreed to not talk in like December, and I wouldn't agree to that. And so it went on for another fucking, what was that, 4 or 5 months?
Yeah, 3
And
or 4.
it could be more than that, honestly, in terms of the money. And so it might have cost me that much just to preserve my ability to talk. So believe me, I want to, and I'm trying to. It's a really difficult thing to do. It really is. But I don't know. We'll talk. We'll see if I don't know. Maybe I was gonna run that idea by Matt and see what he thought, but we'll do that. We'll do that off air. But believe me, I am wanting to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I like that version better, where we're all on the side. Look at that. Plus, there's a real hierarchy here that I can see being established. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Olivia above. Yeah.
I was
All
about
right,
to say, I was like, me
is
above the
this
lawyer.
is this
There's a couple of
9
nines.
question?
So
Oh, okay. Well, tie goes to the person not
Not
in
me.
not married to
I
me.
think there's another 9. Oh yeah, Drew Vogel.
Drew Vogel, can you explain why Mahmoud Khalil can? Oh, why am I reading? Read. I keep forgetting. You've never been here for one of these, hun. So I keep
I
forgetting.
know.
You read.
I'm
please.
always watching the kids.
Yeah.
Can you explain why Mahmoud Khalil can be held in detention in Louisiana while he's expected to be in court in another state? Doesn't the right to confront witnesses require the justice system to facilitate Mahmoud being in the courtroom? Facilitate in the genuine sense, not the BS Supreme Court Abrego Garcia sense. And then he had been released since that comment or question
Sure.
was
Which is
posted.
amazing news. That was a great Friday. So yeah, he doesn't actually. There's no constitutional right to anything in any of this because he's in the immigration court, and because the court that I think you're talking about is in New Jersey, is for habeas. And so they were doing a habeas review of his custody in New Jersey because that was the last place he was held before he was transferred to Louisiana. So he's in immigration court in Louisiana. I mean, he's now going to be. They're going to transfer venue back up to New York, I believe, where he lives. But at the time, he was in Louisiana in immigration court, and they were holding habeas proceedings, which honestly are much preferable. That's where I want my habeas
People are having a
proceedings.
hard time hearing you. Put the mic in the
there we
same
go.
room you're in.
Ah.
Also, no. Can
This
you
again.
Can you point it? Yeah. Can you turn it? It looks like it's just pointed away from you. I think.
I'm an
Although
audio
the cameras
professional.
can be deceptive, so.
Okay, is that better? All right.
Oh, that's
Yes.
Oh, yes.
It's
Yeah.
just
Way
getting in
better.
front of the microphone. You're saying is the secret after 15 months. Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody should have
You
told
know,
me
when you
that.
take a picture with a camera, you usually got to be where the camera's pointed. It's like that, but sound.
Anyway, so the short version is that these are habeas proceedings in New Jersey, the last place he was held. He's in immigration court in Louisiana, and there is no constitutional right to anything because none of this is criminal. So he doesn't have any right to be in the courtroom with anybody, and there is no real trial proceedings. They're just kind of doing a habeas review. But yeah, we're gonna have to talk about what happened with all that pretty soon here. It's all came out in the last couple of days, so it's good
Yeah.
news.
Definitely.
Yeah, very exciting.
Okay. Should I look for that other
Yeah.
9?
You're just trying to avoid my question.
No, I'll answer
No, I like Lydia's questions.
it. Yeah.
You should do it.
Okay.
In honor. Oh, you read
In
it. You should
honor
read
of-
it. Do an impression of whoever that is.
In honor of Thomas's favorite show's 10th anniversary, Hamilton, what legal case do you think would make a good musical? He hates it. Just everybody
Yeah.
knows. I'm just
that's
trying to mess
fine.
with him.
That's fine. I don't know. I love the Paul's Graph. Did we make that joke before? God, I feel like we
The
might have
Paul's
made.
Graph musical.
Yeah,
be
Paul's
pretty
Graph
funny.
So
musical.
fun. Anytime.
Yeah.
Or something. There was something about that. Oh, there's a lot of good answers. Oh, here, let's
Yeah.
get. We got some good. Oh, here, I'll put it back up. There's some good follow-ups. Paul's Graph. Someone says McCulloch v. Maryland. What's that one? No one.
I don't know.
Olivia, what is it?
It's been a while.
You're top. Okay, you're top in the question pecking order here.
It was something to do with the Bank of the U.S.
Okay.
If you hear any squeaking, that's my dog, which is something.
Yeah.
I
The
would
entire-
want
Matt and Thomas know
um,
well.
anything involving Rudy Giuliani because I would like to see someone portray
Oh,
him on stage.
God,
I think
yeah.
it would be hilarious and amazing.
So good.
So I do have a proposal that all three of us are intimately familiar with. I think that People v. Trump would be an amazing musical because it was so silly. The whole trial was so silly. It had so many characters, and it was like about something that's so silly. I think you could do it. There could be some real set pieces in there. And like the defendant has to sing at some point, like because he never got to talk. So he needs to have a solo song.
I think if you do that, the musical, Trump never says anything. Like, I think he's just there. You know what I mean?
Glowering.
Like, he's just there mugging. There, and then you don't even let him speak. Everyone.
You don't
else gets
stop
to talk.
the action and like go dark and have him step out and do a monologue or solo song.
I also I like the more historical ones that are less painful because that's too. I'm not ready for that yet. You know what I mean?
No,
Like
sure.
too
Yeah.
soon.
I don't know how we feel about this, but you guys have me thinking. I actually think Rudy the Opera would
Ooh,
be a
yes.
really good idea.
It definitely is an opera, right? Because it's like this sort of like
Epic,
intense
like,
tragedy, like
Yeah.
this insane archetype of a
Yes.
person. And then
Yeah.
also the costuming, right? We could have like the wig plus
Well,
makeup
already the dripping hair
down.
dye is
Yeah,
already
yeah, yeah.
like that's very
Yes.
operatic, like in the
It
the
is.
lights
Exactly.
It
And
is.
you could do like
It's-
3 acts. You could do him as a U.S. attorney. You could do him as
Yes.
mayor.
Ooh, and it
Yes.
could be an
do him-
Italian.
You
And then
could
the
do
Like in
downfall.
Italian.
honor of his
Exactly.
legacy, like his
And then
background. and-
Trumpian.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause that is
I
really
think it's
that's-
tricky because. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Matt.
I was gonna say you have to have a downfall, right? He's got an amazing arc
Yeah.
for an arc.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Like,
I think it's a really good opera.
I
like a
love it. I
3-act
have a
opera.
hesitation
Guys,
with
I'm, like,
I
really
don't
into
want.
this.
You should cast a terrible singer as him, though. I don't want him to be a good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be Giuliani. Whoa, like he's got to be like the Giuliani fumbling voice that doesn't. You know
What
I
if
mean?
he never sings? What if
Cast a
what if it's
non-singer
someone?
as him? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You cast an actor, like a really, really good actor to be him, and he never sings. He never gets to participate in the singing.
in opera, usually you cast a baritone as the comic part. I could see it, like a really silly, deep voice baritone. But yeah, you know how like at the end of Don Juan, the opera, the guy like steps into the gates of hell. That's just like he goes that far down that he descends into hell. I could see something like that.
Oh man.
Yeah, but
That's
I mean
good.
that is a
That's
really
good.
that's a good call. Is you got to get the copyright on that one quickly. So as soon as I take that.
Matt slowly drifts away from the mic. Just turn it. Does it not turn? Just turn it. Just
It's
give it.
like every Thursday.
Yeah.
that
All right.
should be
Somebody tell me what that is better. Thank you. What's the next? What's the next one we should do, hun?
Let's see.
Oops. We're getting
There's a
some-
6er. You want the 6er?
Oh, I think mine might have refreshed.
I have a couple 6ers.
Well, okay. Which?
What's good?
All right. Mike Copen asks, what are your rights as an American citizen when you cross the border? If someone is coming from England and you have a U.S. passport, what are your rights?
Well, you have a U.S. passport, so we're stuck with you. We have to let you back in. But
For now.
we can also hold on to you for a while and ask you a bunch of questions, which you shouldn't answer. You should absolutely, and I'm fully prepared for this if it comes down to it. And I have lots of questions for them, but I won't be answering any questions. But yeah, they do have to, at the moment, let you back
Yeah.
in.
I do a lot of international travel, so
I have more of a
actually
comment than a
consult with
question.
Matt
Yeah,
before.
right, exactly.
I'm like, Matt, like when I'm like on Signal being
Yeah.
like, Matt, what do I do?
Yeah. Just,
Yeah.
but don't take your phone and don't take your devices. That's if you're at all concerned about having a copy kept for 15 years, that's my best advice. Remains my best advice.
Well,
So, yeah.
Are we
Yeah.
still thinking like if somebody's coming to visit from abroad, all right, Matt, do you recommend the whole like, trick phone thing or
Burner
whatever?
phone.
Like what do you
Depends who
think
you
about
are.
that? Was that real?
I mean,
If you're just
yeah, no,
if you're just a normie.
yeah, if you don't think you've got any reason, that they're if you're not on social media at all and you haven't had much to say, then it's really not that much of a thing. But I don't know, a lot of us, and also if you're not carrying around valuable client information, I mean, I always have Outlook on my phone, right? You can get everything, so you got to look out for that stuff. But,
How do you do, fellow human? Greetings,
Hi,
Ian.
Ian.
Wiping their phones. Yeah, I don't know, because I saw the thing. If you wipe the phone, because if you don't actually, live here, they can turn you away, right? If they're like,
Right.
well, clearly you've got a burner phone, so you must be,
Trying
fucking
to
Al
sneak
Qaeda,
something,
so or
yeah.
whatever, Antifa. It's more like that now.
Yeah.
You must be Antifa, so you don't get to come in.
turn you around for pretty much anything if you're just coming on a tourist visa or on a visa waived, including your opinion of the president. Apparently, that's come up a few times now. So that's cool.
I don't know. I feel like if CBP, TSA saw the collages like through my camera roll, I feel like they think that was funny.
Yeah,
you know, if
They are funny.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's like have a giggle, snowflake.
For those who don't know and are not on Instagram or otherwise, we don't put them out enough. But Olivia's been making beautiful, really fun collages out of our shows every single time. I don't know how she does it. On
They're really
deadline,
cute.
But,
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
It's
it.
real art.
Thanks for the shout out.
we got to put this out more, like to more places.
On what? Yeah, tweet them.
Blue Sky?
Yeah, I think you ski. Do you ski them, Olivia?
Yeah,
Every
gotta
once
skeet
in a
'em.
while. Yeah,
Should do it more.
yeah.
Feel
I don't know.
free.
I get
definitely
shy
skeet 'em.
because sometimes promoting on Blue Sky is like just the engagement is not there. I'm like, oh, I'm shy. I'm shy about the
Yeah,
collage,
I
but
don't
I
know,
definitely
yeah.
They're really good.
thank you. Yeah. I feel like I only put them up on Blue Sky if I have something like snappy to say with them. Because if I don't, like, yeah, I gotta make sure that I'm keeping the content quality up.
All right. Let's see. We've got a lot of fives.
another
I feel like
sixer.
we do. Where's the 6?
From vehicular manslaughter.
Okay, start reading. I'll see if I can find it.
All right, Thomas, explain in detail.
Oh,
Gantt
that
chart
one.
would be
Oh,
great.
okay.
Exactly how you get done all that you get done, and further expound on your time distortion of device, how it relates to the additional 3 hours you get as a result of living in Pacific Standard Time / Daylight Time, and whether you are maintaining it as a trade secrets or if you have filed a patent application to initially capture enormous monopoly profits, but ultimately dedicating this innovation to the public.
I like the idea that we just always get an additional 3 hours like every day or something. Like,
Yeah.
how's that?
Yeah.
It does kind of feel that way. Gotta say,
Yeah,
we live in the
doesn't
future
to me.
here, so-
Does not feel that way to me. Yeah, I don't know. How do you answer this, hon? Just always working and sacrificing, family time and living any sort of life or talking.
Yeah,
to
we
anybody
don't
socially.
really get to do
No,
much.
just healthy stuff. Just great. Just totally
we're
good
working a lot.
productivity
Most
stuff.
of our time together is spent on computers with headphones editing. He's editing something, I'm editing something, and then I eventually fall asleep because I can't stay awake. And Remy's been waking me up at 5 every morning, and so then I call it. Then he stays up for a couple more hours, finishing editing, and then eventually makes his way to bed, I guess. I don't know, because then when I wake up in the morning, he's there. I have no idea what time he went to bed. Sometimes 3, sometimes 4. Kind of depends. Yeah. And then I take care of the kids in the morning, and then he gets up and starts recording, and we do it all over again. So, yeah. It's not great. It's not great. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm constantly impressed, I have to say, just constantly being in regular contact with both of you and how much you're both doing. But I do think, and it's not, again, this is my first industry podcast experience, but I think one of the things that makes OA as good as I think it is how well edited it is.
Yeah. It's incredibly
is-
well edited.
And I don't think it's normal for the host to do that, right? Is that not right?
No.
I don't know. Maybe. I'm not sure.
I don't think it is. I mean, like I look at a lot of other shows and usually they have, people doing production roles a lot more. And I mean, before I joined, it was Thomas doing like all of this basically by himself with like rare exceptions. He would get help.
We didn't have
sometimes.
as many shows, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it is pretty crazy thinking that like we produce more episodes per days of the month, almost every single month.
More episodes than there are
Yeah.
days of the
Then
month.
there are
yeah.
days of the month. Yeah.
Pretty much. I don't
yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
It's stupid. I hope maybe I'll just die and then I don't have to do it. It'll be great.
Then
no,
you get
I
to
need
take a break.
It's like there's a constant wanting to catch up and not being able to. And I don't. It's not interesting to talk or complain about it anymore. But that's the reality of where I am, and it sucks. But I'm doing my best to get caught up someday.
We have a question in the chat asking what I did before I started working on podcasts.
Yeah.
And it is okay to ask. I worked for the state of California. I was working at the Department of State Hospitals, so the forensic psychiatric community in California. And I was serving as an assistant deputy director for a very, very long title that I won't bore you all with. But I was kind of involved in all of the programs and policy changes that we were doing related to a big lawsuit we lost. So called Stiavetti, if anyone's into the psych community stuff.
Yeah, and it's funny
It's pretty
because
big.
I know that like institutionally, you were supposed to be mad about that, but I was always like, no, I'm glad that you guys lost.
Oh yeah, no,
We're like
I
rooting
remember
against the workplace.
judge. Part of the order was the judge said like this might be the best thing that's ever happened to you guys, because now it's like leverage to talk to, the California legislature and be like, you have to give us money to fund these programs because otherwise, this is what it looks like X, Y, and Z. And it was basically like people having to wait too long to get mental health treatment for folks that were incompetent to stand trial. That was the basis of the lawsuit that we lost, which is a problem in every single state in the United States, from what I understand. So, and we have considered hiring a producer, editor, Jen. We've tried
Yeah.
different things. It just, it never quite works out. Ends up being more
it's really tough.
work. But thank you. But, but I'm much happier
okay.
working here than I am. And everyone at the state got return to office orders. So they're all going back 4 days a week, and people are pissed.
Oh, really?
Sure.
And who did that? What great presidential candidate was
Newsom
Oh,
just out of nowhere was like, everyone has to go back starting July 1st. And, because of commercial real estate interests, basically.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Love that guy.
And
That's
part of
my
his
president.
his budget package was to basically like reject the salary increases that the unions had negotiated for all the state workers. And he was like, well, we don't have any money. So that's gone. And it was like a measly 3%. It was basically nothing. And he was like, that's where we're going to save money, is we're just going to cut that. And people were pissed about that. So then he could distract from the RTO thing, I think, and get people focused on that. So, oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's such a nice compliment. It's so true.
Yeah. It says, when you
Sorry,
came on,
what?
I wondered if your old job involved public speaking because you were so good on the mic from the get-go.
Oh,
I grew
here
up doing
can do
theater.
that.
I was gonna say.
So I think that's probably where it's coming from for me. But thank you. I really appreciate that. Also, learned a lot from Thomas over the years. So, been
Yeah, and I
around it
will
a
say I
lot.
do edit to try to make everyone sound better. I don't want anyone to sound
Yeah.
worse. Try to make
Yes.
everyone smarter, and unless it's funny.
I was going to say, you keep some of my stuff.
I would love like a Thomas edit to make someone sound like dumber.
It's not hard.
That'd be really funny.
Anyone could do that.
Maybe I wouldn't.
I've been saying though for quite a while now, if Thomas could just follow me around and edit me all day, that would
Yeah.
be.
I
there
say
I'd
that
sound
about
at least
myself.
30% smarter.
I'm worried. So one thing I thought of as a solution, actually, here, this is a board meeting of opening arguments, people interested in what we're doing. I was thinking we could do, Matt, remember when we were doing the, go through an opinion piece or article or whatever? I love that. And I'm wondering if we could do something maybe once, one of the shows a week, and we just agreed, this is not edited. And we're like, this is live. Fuck it, we'll do
Yeah.
it live.
Hell yeah.
And then didn't edit it. And then recorded it with that understanding. I'm gonna have to cement the microphone to your face though. Is the only thing, because I can't I can't be live and be like, Matt,
Every
do
10
the mic,
minutes.
Matt, do the
Just strap it on like a feed bag.
Just see this like duct tape thing like around. No, it wouldn't be so bad. But I was thinking like maybe that will, but it's hard because I also think that it's been so long since I've done anything like that. Like this, we used to do these more, that I feel like I've gotten more, older and more kids and more things on my mind, that I feel like I've probably gotten a lot worse at doing things live. And I do really notice in editing, I'll have times where I edit and I'm like, boy, Matt, I wish you would have told me I made no sense. Not to blame you, but like, how did Matt even understand what I was saying here? And then I'll have to like fix it and be like, I can't believe he even got it. That was a miracle, And so it's like, I feel like I notice sometimes when I'm too exhausted or whatever. And so it makes me even more reluctant to want to do anything like that. Cause like, you just get what it is. But I don't know. We could look into something like that, and it might reduce the workload a little bit. All right. Yeah, and there's no shortage, Matt, of bad opinion pieces. Like
No.
it's it'd be fun to go
Should
through
start collecting them. Yeah.
No
anytime.
shortage.
Maybe we'll do that.
Good times.
Okay. Hun, what do you got
I'm
for
looking.
us?
I'm looking.
Well, how about this? We can go to the top. Like sometimes I like to do that. Go to the
Sure.
more recent ones. Oh, I love it. I've answered this before, but I always love it. JDub047. How did Thomas and Matt meet and decide to do this podcast together after Thomas got the show back? Yeah. So I've said before, I'll say it again. And Matt, apologies for embarrassing you, but Matt is the best and a literal saint. And he had done the old OA, and I guess had kept track somewhat of the show. And he was like literally the only person who reached out. The only person out of all the history of the show. I think everybody else got either spooked, either on purpose by Andrew. Like I know that he did like proactively talk to people and tell them not to talk to me. But also I think some people were just worried about the situation as well. And like, oh, it's a lawyer. I don't want to get in the middle of this. I don't want to whatever. And no, Matt would just like offered his help, and said some nice things. And it was just like, I couldn't have done it without Matt for sure. Like, I don't know how I would have pitched the show, because we had to do the whole controller thing for a while or whatever that was called.
Yeah.
Was it called that? No, what was it called? I don't know.
Yeah.
The receiver.
Receiver, thank you. The whole receiver thing for a while. And it's like, all that had to be like, I had to be able to pitch, like, here's the show. It's Matt and I, and it's like, if I don't know how I would have, done that without Matt. I would have had to try to like find someone to practice without like reaching out really and tipping my hand at all. Like it's really a miracle. And Matt's just genuinely a great person that I'm so like, every week I'm like, man, it's fucking great that Matt is here. Like it's amazing. And I don't say that enough, Matt. And I hope I hope it's clear and that my microphone jokes are always in jest and not.
We kid because we love.
Yeah.
No, I got pretty lucky myself, I have to say, because this is something I've always wanted to do, and I really could tell that you were going through something, and that we ended up having a perfect amount of lead up time. I think I wrote you a whole bunch of memos because that's just my primary form of love language, but basically we had time to figure out how to do a show a couple of months before, and we had got to practice on SIS, so that was good too.
And what's amazing is, it'll be fun to someday talk about in the whole thing. But then Matt had written some amazing emails that we should refer back to because he still had a lot of good ideas that we haven't got to. And then it was like, oh, we have to hand those over in Discovery.
I love that idea, honestly.
Great. Have to hand over the emails in Discovery. I don't remember if we got that far or not. We might have.
Yeah.
But it was like, okay, there's all the ideas you had that. But fortunately, it timed around when we had gotten control of the show, at least, even though we were still in the legal battle.
Yeah.
So it was,
I just want to highlight again that Matt proactively reached out to Thomas as opposed to other people where Thomas tried reaching out to people that we thought were close, and they just ghosted him. So I just want to put that out there for everyone to hear because it's something that has bothered me.
One in particular hurt quite a bit.
Yeah, and continues to bother me. So.
Well, that sucks. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I still held out hope, like, oh, now it's over. Maybe that person could like reach out. No.
Nope.
Cool.
Just seems such a black and white thing to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
else we got?
Well, in lighter news, how about this one, hon? You wanna? It was the asbestos of times. It was
It was the worst
Yeah, how
worst
is this a
time.
thing?
Ooh,
I was
that's
like,
a
someone texted me
good
about this. I was
name.
like, wait, what? We're bringing asbestos back? Like, we're doing that now?
Oh wait,
Yeah.
what's that a reference to? Oh, I thought it was just fun wordplay. What is it? What's happening with this? Hold on. Oop, damn
We're
it,
bringing asbestos back. I'm serious.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like
I-
easing regulations or whatever, like because they don't care.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
really know their market,
The EPA is because asbestos is banned, and the EPA is reconsidering it now. Like, if we can call it the EPA.
And
The-
Tony Soprano's got a word in. Wow.
Yeah.
Lee Zeldin.
Amazing.
Like,
I love
they're
that, like, for
bringing
Trump-
back asbestos.
Yeah, for their like
I
idiot
should become
boomer
a toiler
brains.
now. Like, you know,
Anything
like,
that was old, and then people were like, "Hey, we shouldn't do that anymore because it's bad or dangerous or whatever." That to them all goes down as woke bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
it'll be like, "Hey, maybe like smoking is bad for you." No, it's great. It's fucking the woke told you that.
Lead
Like
paint,
all this
that's
stuff.
going to be next.
Yeah,
like
probably.
all this stuff.
What
yeah.
was the other? The light bulbs. The light bulbs was a
Yeah.
big one. Anything that's like their entire politics is based on like, I used to have a thing, and then they said it was bad, and I don't like being told things are bad. Bring it back. That's their whole. That's everything. That's their whole thing.
All right, and so they ask, how does people don't have to know you're an officer interact with the crime of impersonating an officer? Because if anyone in a mask and an unmarked van can roll up and grab anyone without identifying themselves, it seems encouraging to vigilantes.
Very true. And
Matt, I
it
got
has
this.
been.
We
We've-
keep answering this every time. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I was going to say three
Yeah.
people were just arrested last week for doing that, for impersonating ICE officers and doing
Really?
that exact thing. So it is happening, like starting to. It's inevitable when these things. But we talked about FIOLA, the US Supreme Court case from '75, on the show on Friday, and how the standard is there's no scienter, so you don't have to be able to know whether or not they're an officer. If you're interfering, if they're undercover, you're still
Right, but
interfering.
you, the getting arrested person, has a right to
Right.
know, right? Like if
You're
they're an
supposed
officer.
to. It's their position that they don't actually have to identify themselves at this point. I need to get into that. That's another subject.
Wow.
But yeah, no. I mean, it does encourage vigilantism, and certainly, as we've been saying for months now, in places where people carry more guns in Massachusetts, it's inevitable at some point somebody's going to white knight this thing. I think there's a woman getting kidnapped by a guy's driving a van. But yeah, that's a risk they seem to be willing to take.
Crazy.
Did anyone catch the great Homan interview on the Daily?
No,
Really? Good stuff.
Oh,
I
God.
can't listen to that man's
Oh.
voice.
It was
Doing great
Wow.
work.
It was
That good.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I
He's
again,
disgusting.
I get why they would. I get in theory interviewing people from the administration. They are literally in control. It's not like you're platforming them. They're in control of everything. But maybe go a little harder.
that's the thing.
You know?
Exactly that. I was just like, you just totally like it was all softballs. I was like, okay, well, I understand that point about like labor rights and okay, so that does reduce like wages for U.S. citizens. I do agree. But how do you
Never
feel about
proven.
like? I don't know, separating families. Oh, we never separated. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
it was so many softballs. The
Just
reporter was
weak
so
sauce.
uninformed. It was so, like, again, like, I mean, I'm sorry, but maybe, like, I can't believe that we have to say this, but, like, she should have been Tucker Carlson him. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
she should have been, like, these are the stats. These are this. What do you know about this? You separated this many people. Like, answer. And it was just, I mean, like, I would have done a better job interviewing. And I don't know. Anyway, I just, and I'm not a reporter and I don't do that. It was embarrassing. Sorry.
Sorry,
I'm
this is
still
a comment
upset.
after my own heart. Yeah, except for is it demonic tutor where you get to pick any card so you don't have to show it, But yeah, it's a comment. I appreciate you, Hermie. That's a nice set. But yeah, it's weak sauce. Like, just I don't get what they're trying to do other than just they, for one, welcome our new fascist overlord. I don't know. Like, I don't know what they're doing with that. It's just so pointless. And it really made him sound normal. It made him come across as normal. And that guy doesn't seem normal to me.
No.
Let's see, do we need another one? Ooh,
Yeah,
I want this one. Here, do this one, hun.
Yeah, that's
Is
what
that
I
the
was
one
going to
you're
do.
thinking? Okay, good.
From Jonah Price. First question, what would abolishing ICE look like? It presumably has some functions that we would want to retain. Should they go to an existing other organization, or should a more narrowly focused replacement be created?
All right.
And then Drew chimes in,
yeah.
adding into this. Oh, did you want me to read that or no?
No,
Sure,
go ahead.
Oh.
go ahead.
I don't know if Matt has time for this, but adding into this, either in the Q&A or as a deep dive, I would appreciate a historical review of how immigration was enforced bureaucratically and practically prior to the post 9/11 reorg under DHS.
That would be a good like
That would be.
Monday deep dive,
Yeah.
Matt.
I'm gonna flag that. That's really fun
Yeah.
to do because it's a really interesting history. And on its website, ICE's history is literally like 1789. There was some immigration enforcement. Like they're trying to tie themselves back to 1789,
Yeah,
and then they're
yeah.
like, and then in 2002, and there's nothing in between. Literally.
No, but
boy.
like actually, right? Yeah.
So yeah, but the thing is that, and it's a fair question. Whenever you're saying that we should abolish something, what are you going to replace it with? How's it going to work? Interior immigration enforcement in the United States is a very new idea. It pretty much is within all of our lifetimes that it's been done anything like what we see now, and it was considered to be pretty unusual for almost all of U.S. history. And previously, what was the Immigration and Nationality Service was a part of the Department of Justice, and it handled the entire basket of immigration matters, right? So everything having to do with immigration, as the name would suggest, it was naturalizations and all the green card processes, all the visas, everything else. And then you also had an enforcement arm. And the INS had its own problems. And certainly I'm not saying it was perfect, but it was at least part of the Department of Justice so that when you were funding INS, you were funding all of the immigration stuff. And I think part of the main problem where we started to go wrong with all of this was creating a separate bucket of ICE, as it were, and funding that bucket.
Ice bucket challenge. I agree.
To abolish the ice bucket challenge. Yeah. But I think that is, then that's something I've been saying for a while. It's a real political trap that you create something where you are talking and arguing about how much money should we give immigration enforcement instead of how should we be holistically overall structuring and paying for the immigration system. And, it puts everything in an enforcement mindset. So I think just in terms of the beginning to that question is reintegrate enforcement functions back into another agency and don't have this rogue agency that is just exists only so that Congress can continue to grow it. Because there's never at any point going to be anybody to stand up and seriously say, let's make this thing a little smaller until something really crazy happens or until it becomes, because it's going to get so much larger in the next couple of years. But in terms of the actual enforcement, I think that, and I know there's difference of opinion about this, but I do think it's reasonable to have potentially something like the function that they have right now that works with prisons. So when you have people that are convicted of extremely serious aggravated felonies, that they're shipped directly to removal because those are the people that are still going to be removed under any version of this law. But in terms of people going out into the community, just doing immigration enforcement, in terms of people creating the system of fear and oppression that we have right now, like it has to go. It does not work. It's not serving any function except racial enforcement. Like that's really, and I think everybody can starting to see that now. But
Yeah.
I mean, the very first predecessors of ICE, as I've mentioned on the show before, were literally called Chinese inspectors, and there was something that was just looking for Chinese people in California. That was their job.
That's
To
disgusting.
inspect the Chinese. And
I don't, yeah. Every time you say that, yeah.
Even your dog is upset about
Did
that.
you see Walter?
Walter.
Walter hates racism.
Walter does hate
He's
racism.
a good boy. That's why. He's a good boy. Good doggy.
Hey, and Chad, if you have any questions for us, feel free to ask
Yeah.
them. But we'll go. This one's a long one, but it's got the
Oh, boy.
5
Okay.
votes.
Would it be possible for all citizens of the United States who didn't consent to our personal data and government systems being privatized to such a degree as it is, the .gov domain is subcontracted, for example, being shared to Doge to sue the government, perhaps even SCOTUS, reckless disregard for actual harms already done and increased by policymakers on the bench seems like it should be actionable. I know about Article 3 immunity doctrines and all, but that's not in the Constitution anywhere. It's only doctrine, I think. Also, tangentially related, why aren't elected officials and government officials required to be truthful when speaking to the public, not on the floor in debate, at least in their official capacity? I would think the duty to warn and duty to inform comes with their position, and alternative facts doesn't excuse the whole who is the head of Doge and State Department BS in court and elsewhere lately. And maybe for High Court Season 1, Episode 2, would love to see real restorative justice implemented for white-collar and government bad actors, just to have some consequences and reparations from the Googles and Facebook/Meta data brokers. I'd have charged a per-use fee on my data for myself if I wanted to be a commodity. Bastards. Thanks, Deputy.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. There's a
I
few
think-
questions in that.
Yeah, there's a lot of follow-up questions I have. But first of all, I don't think we're able to show harm yet. We don't know what the full scale of the harm is. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be pretty bad. But we have to see it play out more. But I could see some kind of class action, but again, the sovereign immunity on this, I think, is pretty solid. I don't know how that we could necessarily. It really depends on what the scope of the harm is going to end up being. But
is it not looked at as just a harm if your data is given to somebody it shouldn't be or whatever? Or there's no per se or something like just assumed to be no.
As a
Not
private right of
really.
action, yeah. There could be
No.
violations of other laws, but the private right of action that you and I think that's the question, right? Is what the public would
And
want.
that's, I think, but that's a correct, I think you identify a correct issue, is that's the thing, is that like our laws right now, it's so far behind what it needs
Yeah.
to be in terms of, like, it should be considered to be a per se harm, like your own personal data, your information, like given to someone. And that's the thing. And it comes up actually a lot of times with like medical data breaches. Like, it's actually pretty hard to show a harm unless, as I say, something, and it's not just your data, being given to or being violated is not in and of itself considered to be a harm, which is
Right.
not.
Seems wrong.
It seems wrong.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Seems
work.
incorrect.
There was a question I wanted to talk to Liz about that was in here. If I could.
Oh,
make a
sure. What
request
is
for a
it?
question.
Yeah, that's great.
It's actually from super patron Katie Herman, and
Yay.
it's a topic that Liz and I have actually discussed a lot that I'd love to.
The next one there?
No, it's
this
actually
one?
maybe it was a sub. Yes, there we go. Q1. That's a good one. That's one
All
that we.
right. Best advice for lawyers fighting the good fight who are also interested in maintaining their well-being and sanity.
I think maybe people know I've been talking a lot about mental health and lawyering and the particular kinds of things that Liz and I both do that are very, very personal and client-centered and vocational, are especially prone to this kind of thing of losing your mind. And I just want to say, I'm going to embarrass Liz now, because I have never seen, I won't say never seen, but I've rarely seen an example of somebody who's able to balance personal and mental health and work-life workload. Maybe you're just totally faking it. Maybe you're actually very bad at lawyering, but I've watched you lawyer. We went to do it now. We went to watch Liz in Night Court. And I think
fun.
she knows exactly what she's doing. And I think she works really hard for her clients, but she also has a great time and has a great set of friends and is really like actually prioritizing her personal life in a way that I think a lot of lawyers forget to, especially as we get older. So would you want to share your secrets?
I mean, wow, Matt, that was quite the intro. Thank you so much. I think for me, I think it's just important to identify the things that you enjoy and that you want to do. I'm a huge music person. I love electronic music. I love house. I love techno. I find personally that, and I think the thing that can work is you don't have to be doing that, but just things that are sort of immersive experiences, I think, are very ways for me to kind of disconnect from the stress in my job. And it doesn't, as I say, have to be necessarily music. It can also be like an incredible art installation, something like that. Just ways to think about how you can disconnect and sort of center yourself. And so I think that's the key thing. And then having, incredible friends. And for me, what has become really important is I don't need to have friends in my life that are sort of, I mean, I don't, but like I've had some people who maybe they weren't 100% supportive of my work. Like if you aren't supportive of my work and you don't want to get a drink with me and you're going to kind of argue with me about whether someone should be arrested for this or that, like you're not, just cut those people out of your life. If you have a high stress job, you just don't need to have that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my
Absolutely.
family has been really, I would say, on the great on this stuff, but also when they kind of start to, they're not exactly the same political values and alignment as me, and as they kind of start to question things, I sort of shut it down and we redirect, and I think that's important too.
Yeah, no, that's because I will share that, in 2017, I had a crash. Like I did the first year of the Trump administration, I was doing so many detained cases. I was working through weekends.
Yeah.
I didn't get to go on to a podcast and tell everybody about it. So it was really feeling like very private and, very like limited. And I wasn't making any money. Like I just couldn't bring myself to charge anybody for anything. So it's a terrible combination of stuff. And I went on antidepressants at the beginning of 2018, which I should have done earlier anyway. I'm a chronic depressive, but I was doing a lot of unhealthy things, and as often happens with lawyers the mental health study, even in Massachusetts alone, was appalling when they just did a basic survey of how many lawyers drink too much, use too many drugs, or, identify as having mental health problems. And so it's something I've really been looking out for in the lawyers I know and the people around me and the people that do the work that I do, and just trying to figure out how to pace ourselves for the next few years. And I feel like I'm in a much healthier place than I was, and I think you're an inspiration. So.
Oh,
really do.
I mean, you all are
You guys are both the
inspirations.
best. I
Oh my gosh,
just
stop.
love that we have two lawyers that are like just doing good lawyer stuff. It
Yeah,
just feels
that's so
so
great.
rare, you know.
Yeah.
But Liz, how do you feel like would you say you avoid getting too like personally like invested in the people you're defending, you know, because you have so many of them, right? I mean, it's kind of, you know, how do you feel about that? Is it ever hard to be like, ugh, this is really hard to separate like the, you know, as a person, how I feel versus doing the job? Or is it like you've done it so much and you have so many, you know, so much work that you kind of gotten used to just sort of separating from it? What do you think?
I think, one thing I sort of say is like the first time I kind of have something bad happen in a particular way in my job, it's really like ripping a band-aid off, and that time is very painful. So, a really, the first time very early when I started, a very unfair bail decision felt terrible, and every single time you kind of, you rip that band-aid off and it doesn't feel good, but it kind of, it inures you a little bit. But I do think it's important. I do think for the work to have the passion of like, what is happening to this person is so unjust. And so,
Yep.
I think that you can't quite separate yourself from it, because I think that is what drives you to do it. Because if that's not what drives you to do it, it's not the money. It's not the the great support, or that I get within. It's not that like I get tons of support from junior associates. So you have to kind of keep that, but you can't. It really is. You're constantly on this sort of like, sort of trapeze line of just like, you don't want to be too invested because you can't do the work, but you don't want to not be invested because you also can't do the work.
Right. That's so well said. That's exactly right. And, yeah, but I was starting to have that feeling, and I was starting to creep back a little bit in the last couple of months of like, I can't just have a Saturday night. Like, I still have to be thinking about this. I still have to be doing
Yeah.
something. But giving yourself a Saturday night and even a Friday night once in a while, to actually really not think about any of it. And that's even been, not that, I mean, again, I love doing the show, but it's been compounded a little bit because now I have to think extra about how I'm going to talk about it, when
Yeah.
bad stuff
Yeah.
is happening. But I found a way to make that fun too. But yeah, no, that is
Yeah.
just learning how to check out and how to give yourself that time. I always thought that was kind of weak, honestly, but that's
Yeah.
really, really bad to think
I
that
totally
way. It's
agree.
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, and it really is this like impossible like thing you have to like triangulate on. I feel like as people who, as people with empathy who want to do the right thing. And I think this applies not just, to you folks as lawyers, but I think broadly to people in, movement politics kind of thing, is it requires empathy, and it requires, an anger or at least just a drive to put a stop to injustice. But then I also feel like there's something that happens. Can be the burnout where like it feels like if there's so much, can you even make a difference? Does it even matter? It's like you have to avoid that. It's like you still have to
Yeah.
retain your humanity and your empathy, but you can't feel that way about every single wrong happening at all times because you wouldn't be able to function. But you can't totally turn it off either. Otherwise, you become that like jaded, like, oh, nothing matters. I can't help anybody anyway.
Exactly.
And it's like it's so hard. I feel like the burden is just so much on exactly the type of lawyers that you two are, and like it's so much easier to just be like, never mind, I'll just go fucking fight over billions of dollars for some big firms and actually make money, and not, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah. But that in its own way is soul crushing, which is why I don't do that work anymore.
Right.
So, and I couldn't be happier to have switched. On that note, it is my parents' anniversary, and they actually for once gave me a warning about doing dinner with them more than a day ahead. So I'm gonna go ahead and
Wow.
have dinner with my parents for their anniversary.
Aw,
All right.
happy
Happy
anniversary,
anniversary.
Mom
Thank
and
you so much
Dad.
for stopping in. I suppose.
Thank
Yeah.
you guys. Yeah.
Well,
This has been
yeah.
so fun.
Thanks, Liz.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All
Talk
right.
soon.
Bye, everyone.
All right. Well, I feel like we should go a little longer because I, messed up the audio for a while. So
Yeah.
maybe we can
Got some
answer
other
a
good
few
ones?
bonus questions.
Yeah. Let's see.
Was there? Let's see. Did you want to do the rest of that one, or it's kind of a different? The rest of that question.
Oh yeah, the
It goes in. It's might
question
be a,
2.
yeah.
If you live in an apartment building or shared space and are asked
Oh,
or
that's
commanded by
interesting.
folks who identify themselves as ICE to swipe them in, can you lawfully refuse?
Sure. Yeah. And the same way you could if I asked you. I mean, it's about the same amount of power that I have walking into your apartment building to ask you, hey, you want to let me up? No, I mean, obviously you don't. So,
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, if they actually do have a judicial warrant, which is almost
Never.
1% likely. Yeah. So,
then you
Well,
do
that's
have to
good.
let them in. Like if they actually show you a.
I don't know if you're just like if you're just an occupant. If you're a superintendent or
Mm.
whatever of the building, you certainly would have to. I don't know if you're just a regular
Right.
person if you'd have to.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What else we got?
I like that.
Let's see. I'm going to switch it up and do something a little lighter. From Professor Flatpack's assistant. What is Matt's favorite book? Fiction preferred, but I'll settle for nonfiction.
Could call back to what was the flat pack thing? I remember that. There's just a couple of episodes ago, but
I don't know. What was that?
I made some kind of passing joke about flat pack studies, something to do with Sweden. But anyway, so that I have a lot of trouble with favorite things. I can't
Yeah.
really narrow it down. It really depends on what kind of mood I'm in and what we're talking about and what the subject is. I guess just in terms of overall, man, in terms of books that have had an influence on me. Hold on, I know I could do this. Okay, well, first of all, just in terms of fiction,
Okay, name
I
a
mean, this-
book. No, I'm just kidding.
I've read so many books, and I know that I'm just a general nerd. In terms of fiction, I really love the Culture series, just as like a series, as like a world, as a universe, as an archetype world, universe building. I love that stuff. I can't even name a favorite one of those books, but I just really like them. But I read. This is funny. It's not by far. Now that I know what I know, hold on. I was going to say a couple of different things, but man, this is actually so hard.
It's
'cause
happening.
I have to go back and think about.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Here, what was it? Can I answer while you think? What was it?
Yeah,
no,
go
it was
ahead.
just for you, huh?
Do you
No,
have a
never
favorite
mind.
Well,
Does
yeah,
everybody else
favorite
wanna know
book.
my favorite
hun.
book? I've
Favorite
definitely got some
book.
good ones.
Jeez.
Fiction
Got some
preferred.
great.
Yeah. Oh, fiction? Was that
Yeah.
the preference?
Yeah, yes.
Oh,
Fiction
man.
preferred, but they'll take nonfiction.
I mean, it's so
as
hard
well.
to not just say listening to the audiobook of fucking what's his name reading Lord of the Rings. Like, how can you beat that? Like what's his name?
Is it
The
Andy
guy who does-
Serkis?
Andy Serkis. Like,
Mhm.
you can't
Doing all the
beat it.
voices.
It's so he does all the. He's so good at it. Like, I spend probably 80% of my brain when I'm listening to that is just thinking about his performance. I'm like, man, this is so. He's such a technically gifted actor. Like, it's like, oh, every choice that he makes sense where you're differentiating voice. That's a hard thing to do. It's really
Voice
hard thing
acting
to do.
too. Is
Yeah.
like,
Reading that
whole
many
other
different
ballgame.
characters and
yeah.
and picking a dialect for them, it helps that it's like he probably knows a bunch of the different,
It's an art. No,
Yeah,
yeah. A lot of the culture
Languages.
readings are like that too. And I'm really concerned about AI starting to replace. They think it's normal to replace book readers.
Oh, I
and-
hate
and
it. The
audio
AI
so bad.
readers.
Yeah,
Every
that's
time
coming,
I
though.
click on a thing, like sometimes I'll go to an article, and everyone, you probably know by now that I just have a much easier time listening to things than actually reading. And I'll see, read me this, the button that's like, here, click this, play this article. And the minute it says like, this is an AI thing, I'm like, no, I can't do it. I need to hear a human
Yeah.
read it. I don't.
I need to know somebody
Maybe
got paid to do
someday-
it too.
Yeah, like maybe someday it would be good enough or something, but every time I hear it, I don't, you can tell so quickly that it's not good. It's weird.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to shout out in terms of books that like completely changed my life. Harlan Ellison's Dangerous Visions, both 1 and 2. Because again, I was a very sheltered kid. I grew up in a very, very sheltered, strict, conservative kind of environment, and I read a lot of sci-fi when I was growing up. I snuck away to the library and spent a lot of time in the library. And Dangerous
Like
Visions, just
Matilda.
like, yeah, just like that. That's exactly. How
I
it
always
came
say
out,
that
obviously.
about Matt.
Yeah. Got all those mental powers too.
Yeah.
But yeah, but Harlan Ellison is still one of my favorite writers. Real crank. He died a few years ago, unfortunately. But those collections, just the breadth of
think I
and
know
variety
those
and the
ones.
creativity. He edited basically just a whole series, and I love sci-fi short stories. It's still one of my favorite genres.
Wait, did we talk about Ted Chiang? Did I recommend Ted Chiang? Had you read Ted
I know the
Chiang?
name. I don't think you
Oh,
mentioned it.
so good. I love Ted Chiang. Just pick up any of his. He writes sci-fi short stories, and they're the best. God, they're so good.
Nice.
I love that
Love it.
guy.
Okay.
Forgot
Look.
about that. Okay, let's see. Maybe. Oh, one more quick, easy one, Matt. About the U.S. strikes on Iran.
Oh yeah.
Shad Riley asks, "Is this attack lawful? We have not been
No.
attacked by Iran. War Powers Act authorization
No.
for use of military force.
No.
If this was an unlawful attack, is there anything that can be done about it?
Also, no.
Also,
Next
probably
question.
no. Yeah, there is, but not by us. There is
Yeah.
by if Republicans decide to have a spine.
Sure.
All it
Are we
takes-
even? Oh, good.
No, well, I mean, Lydia was like, "Oh, could he be impeached by this?" Every time he could be impeached for anything. He could already be impeached all the time.
But it's because of the headlines like Marjorie Taylor Greene's pissed, and I'm like, okay,
yeah,
okay.
Again, but the answer is still, if enough Republicans want to, then yes, that's all that matters. Like, it kind of sucks that, and I'm not trying to go hard on you or anything, but it kind of sucks that there's no interesting points about that question at all anymore. Like, can he be impeached? Is this impeachable? The only answer is, well, of the people in Congress, does, for the House, does the bare majority want to? And for the Senate, does the, 2/3 or whatever want to convict? That's all. That's literally, it's only that question. It's funny that we've divorced it from any sort of objective measures or even close to objective measures of what's a crime, what's a misdemeanor, what's a high crime rather. And it's just, do they want to do it? That's literally all it is. Stupid.
No, it's a political question. Always has been. But it is kind of a funny, well, not funny. I mean, it's exactly kind of the point I was making on Friday about how if the media doesn't notice that he's unlawfully extending the TikTok ban, why are we, they're not going to ask questions about, because I haven't seen them even trying to provide a legal justification. They're not even saying that there's anything that they, maybe I haven't looked deep enough, but I haven't seen anything where they're saying there's a reason they get to do it. They're just doing it. And, this is one of the most consequential things that a country can do. And we're just pretending that we can just do it.
It also just feels like it kind of just was an idea that happened in his head while he was going to the bathroom. Like, it just feels like
totally.
like there was no like actual discussion or coverage or anything leading up to this moment. It was just like, okay, I guess we're gonna do that.
And there are a few Republicans who really wanted it, and I'm sure they got his ear. And they want to use our cool bombers and do the cool stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I was listening to some coverage that was really about. I mean, it's all obvious, but just it was, Trump initially was not really in favor of Netanyahu doing some of these strikes. And then, Netanyahu was like, well, I'm doing them. And then they went over well or whatever.
Right.
In the media. Right. And then Trump's like, oh, okay, then I like that. And then he just, it's like such a,
I'm in.
Just obviously the worst way to do anything. But
it's ratings. It's all ratings-based presidency.
Yep.
That's how we're doing it.
That's so
cool.
Crazy.
Well, I think we'll probably call it there, right? I mean, unless there's any pending questions anyone's dying to get answered. But yeah, this was so much fun. Thanks everyone for coming. And thanks Matt, thanks Olivia, thanks to Liz. So glad she took the time.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. But yeah, I think these are fun. Let's start doing these again. It seems like everyone here had a good time. I had a good time.
Yeah.
Let's
anytime.
Meet back here next month.
Always a pleasure.
I'll be there.
Thanks for the questions, everybody. Okay.
Take care,
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.